All right, guys, this week we're here at Tampere Disc Golf Center. It looks like Tampere, but we're in Finland. We got to say it with the Finnish accent, so it's Tampere. And we're here. This place is amazing. I would say it's in my top 5 courses as well, just like last week. So we're playing 2 top 5 courses on my list, back-to-back weeks. This is going to be a treat. So let's start off with hole 1, par 4. We got 241 meters, 790 feet. We got feet and meters this week, so that's pretty cool. We got a dead straight tunnel, and we have a kind of a bubble of space on the right-hand side, so that's why I'm going to go with the forehand, because late in its flight has a chance to hyzer into the sweet spot. So these are my first 2 shots of the day. So that should be kind of hyzering into the sweet spot, I think. Yeah, so that's kind of that right-hand side that I like to be on, and it gives you a good angle into the green, so we'll try one more. So that one's a little bit wider, but it should fade back. Yeah, so that's a fine shot. I'm not trying to obviously hit a tree, but that first one's the one we're going with. Yeah, this is a tricky par 4 for sure. It's a par 4 that you kind of almost feels like a bonus birdie. You definitely can birdie it, but it's tricky. It's tight. You go off the fairway either way. It's an automatic bogey. You know, I'm a good scrambler, but some holes, like hole like this, it's tough to scramble just because of how dense those sides of the woods are on each side of the fairway. So yeah, it's a beautiful starting hole. It's absolutely dead straight almost the entire way, but that right hand side has that one little bubble, which I'll show you when we get up here, and that's kind of why I lean on the forehand.
Can we talk about what happened last weekend?
Yeah, so we shot our back-to-back course record after filming the practice round, so that was so exciting. We did it in Sweden. We shot the 10 under at Emer, and then we shot the 13 under at Krokal. So it's turning into a trend, and this week we're at Tampere, and so I hope that we can keep that trend going for 3 weeks in a row. It was amazing. My wrist is actually a little sore. So many autographs last week. The Norwegian fans came out in full force, and you always hear people like, oh, your wrists get tired after signing so much, and normally it's just like, like a joke, but it literally, like, my wrist was like cramping up almost. It was very stiff, and so yeah, it was tough, but we're here and we're ready to throw some good shots. So this takes us to this bubble. So as you can see here, so you can see that left-hand side is just all trees, and we're coming down this way, and you can kind of see that this is why I have this area over here where I can kind of use as a hyzer out zone to kind of just increase my chances of hitting the fairway, as opposed to hyzering off left. You got OB and you got woods. So this shot is pretty far still to the basket. Like, I probably threw, let's say, 350 and the hole's 800 feet, so I still got a good ways to go. And as you can see, it's not an easy shot. You got to shape your disc through a lot of trees, and there's OB on both sides, so very tricky, tight hole. I'm gonna go with kind of my orange general. You guys have been seeing me throw this on the kind of flex line, so just trying to throw it on the right side of this left tree of the fairway, and just try to hit the gap on a little bit of an ante. So I pulled it a little bit. So luckily I hit and stuck. So a bad shot on this hole, you want to be able to still try and save a par, because it's tough. That one I pulled. I'm gonna try one more. Try my green general. This one's a little more beat up. There we go. Kind of got a little more hyzer flip action on it, and that's money. So that's still, I mean, you saw how I missed the gap I was trying to peer, but as you can see, I didn't throw either one of those perfect. So I'm just, that you know, makes for just a par. I'm not going to be able to get away with any sort of bad shot on that second shot, or the first shot for that matter. So yeah, this place there's a lot of bonus birdies on par 3s, par 4s, par 5s. I'm going to say the course record this week that we're looking to shoot is probably around 7, 6, 7, 8 under, in that range. So double digits is going to be unconscious, and
1100, right?
Yeah, I would say that, but it's possible, but it's definitely challenging. So yeah, super excited. We had not much sleep last night. Got on an 8 o'clock flight, got done signing autographs 9 p.m. and packed my luggage, and now I'm here doing this video for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a great success. You guys have been loving it, and I've been loving filming it. It's been working for me. It helps me walk through mentally what I'm going through and kind of verbalize it out loud with you guys. So, and you guys get to hopefully learn something. So thanks for putting yourself, I'm glad I can put yourself in my mind and take you through the course. So kind of got a tricky little upshot here. A lot of times I see amateurs wanting to go for the throw-in route, where I'm gonna kind of try to throw this left to right gap just because it's a lot bigger. Yeah, that might look more appealing to try to throw it in, but you have also a higher likelihood of hitting a tree. So I'm gonna use the bigger gap, the left to right gap, just to try to give it a little, whoops, I completely shanked that. So I'm gonna try one more. I accidentally hit the gap. that was the sports psychology 101. The last thing you think about is what your brain's gonna do. So I was talking about that gap, trying to hit this gap. So I'm gonna think about this gap, and then we'll hit it. Oh, imagine that. So yeah, kind of just, you can see how I just focus on hitting that line with some soft kind of nose up touch to it. And yeah, take the higher percentage shot. Okay, so that second one, wow, that was a very good shot. That's inside the circle. So really good shot on that second one. I didn't actually even realize that I got all the way up here. So that was a great shot. Got a birdie putt. You know, birdie on this hole is, you know, if we're playing I'll put it in perspective this way. Like if we're playing a full round of top professionals out here at a major, I would say over under 4 birdies on this hole for the weekend. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And I would almost take that's probably a good number, 4 to 4.5 if you're a betting man. So there's hole 1 out here at Tampere. All right, hole 2, we got 124 meters, 407 feet. This is the type of hole where you're kind of trying to hug this left-hand side, and then once you get past about 350, you want to kind of just go even further left. So it almost feels like you're throwing right into a bunch of trees. And so it's kind of an awkward shot, but you also want to throw it high because you want to give it that chance to fade back way left. And so that throwing it higher, that extra distance up in the air allows it to fade back. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the general, kind of just throw it high. And this is kind of all about a feel shot. So that, just based on feel, that's gonna be a little wide. So I like to kind of listen to see if it hits any trees, but yeah, I mean, that was a good shot. I liked it. I just feel like it might be a little bit wider than I want. So I'm gonna try one more. I just gotta see the right disc that I want to throw here. It's kind of like a crashing hyzer. I don't love this hole. I think it's kind of a little bit too much randomness. Throw a second shot here. That looks better. Okay, yeah, that one was tighter. I think it had a better chance to be a good shot. So we'll go up there and see what kind of crash job we got. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of a crapshoot. It's one of the, you know, crapshoot hyzer. Everyone has that one crapshoot hyzer hole on their local course. And this is kind of that, unfortunately. Just throw it up into a pile of trees and hope to get through and get a good crash down. So yeah, we'll kind of go up there and see. I think I threw the shot I wanted to, and just depends on what kind of crash I got. All right, so this is the type of greens we're gonna get out here. A lot of tiered greens, beautiful grass, as you see. The only thing I don't like is you're really just throwing around a blind corner into a bunch of trees, which is not ideal from a course design standpoint, but that's what we got. And this is gonna be a very common spot to land because you're gonna throw hyzers, hit the trees, crash down. So we might as well play from a spot, like I said, that we are gonna land in a lot. So let's see if we can. Oh, a little bit high, but yeah, just kind of dial in the height of this putt. Yeah, obviously that one was a little high. A little low, and this one's in. Ha, no. But yeah, you can see that's kind of this is gonna be I wouldn't call this a sweet spot, because if we're not hitting the trees, we can definitely get inside the circle, but it's a blind shot. You can't really control it all that much. But yeah, one of the few holes out here that's not the greatest, I would say, but still a good rewarding birdie, as most holes out here are. All right, hole 3, we got 118 meters, 387 feet. This is a slow dragging par 3 to the right. You got this last tree on the right-hand side. You kind of want to hug that. A lot of people think they want to hug left-hand side and turn, but there's actually a bunch of trees once you get in that gap. So once you get past the gap, you want to be kind of tight to the right-hand side and not the left-hand side. So that's something I'm definitely paying attention to. This is kind of my flippier compass that I can really turn. See, that's too wide. That's looks like a good shot, and then watch and hit the tree. Yeah. So that was, you know, not a bad shot, but It's just something where you got to be a little bit tighter to that right-hand side. And it was a good release, a good shot. It just, you know, 2 feet too wide left. So this one I'm gonna try to hug a little more. See, that might also still be wide. Yeah, so it hit something. I mean, that's like a foot. Both those are a foot from being in super money. But I mean, not the worst shot. This is just, once again, this is, and you're gonna see that's kind of a theme out here, is you're gonna see a lot of people left at 70, 80 feet on some of these par threes and just getting a par. So if you can, that's gonna determine a winner this week, is the people that can really dissect these holes and get themselves a putt inside the circle when a lot of people are left at that 70, 80 foot range versus being inside 30 feet. Obviously a huge percentage difference making birdies. And if you just get stuck on making those pars, that's the difference between winning and losing, is having, you know, 3 or 4 inside the circle looks as opposed to 3 or 4 outside the circle looks. And so as we're walking up here, you can see this last tree, and if I'm hugging this left-hand side of these trees, I'm gonna run into these trees here. But if I'm hugging this right side, I got more open space, and I can almost guarantee I hit this tree on almost both those shots. It was a money shot, turning, and then just clunks this tree. And like I just talked about, I'm left 70 feet, 80 feet. So it's like, as opposed to being inside the circle. And so that's a little adjustment off the tee, is I gotta realize, hey, I don't wanna just hit it's not just about hitting the gap, it's about hitting the gap. And then also, once your disc is 350 feet down here, making sure it's on the right, good side of the fairway. So we'll putt here from 80, 70, 80 feet. Ooh. But yeah, it's kind of gotta, once again, yeah, just, I mean, I even like to putt just like those putts there, kind of through some trees, just kind of get some feel. Even if I don't make it, I'm still getting that spin, getting the feel of how the spin feels from this distance. And yeah, of course, everyone loves to see a putt go in, but just getting that spin and feeling that comfort of, you know, seeing your putter fly chain high right by the basket gives you some confidence. So yeah, that's hole 3. All right, hole 4, we got, I know it's a par 4, I don't know, oh, there's the distance. We got 860 feet, so it's a long par 4, 262 meters. Reference point on this hole is that one lone tree and the clump of kind of pine tree looking things on the right. So I wanna fly my disc in between those two. That's kind of the sweet spot. That's the line to the sweet spot where I wanna land. And the sweet spot is super important, especially when you got an 860 foot hole, because you want to be in a spot where you have a good clean run up and arm swing. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to throw a long shot in, which you need to reach this long par 4. So you just want to kind of go at that tree and go left of it at the very end. So that's cash. That's pretty much exactly what I want. Yeah, so that's golden spot. I want to try to, if I can throw it a little bit higher, that's great. I'm gonna throw this a little bit higher to get a little bit more glide, a little bit more distance. That's really good. If it doesn't hit that last tree. Okay, see, I cut it real close to that last tree. I was 2 inches from hitting it. But I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. At the top professional level, you're pushing the limits on the lines. And if you're not doing that, then you're just not gonna get the birdies on these hard holes, which is what separates, you know, winning from 10th, 20th, 30th place. So, but yeah, I know the shot, and it's all about feel, all about hitting that, you know, coming out here with you guys, talking through it, and just executing. So yeah, it's gonna be a general. This is a general off the tee hole. That blue general was flying absolutely money. Threw it on 17 and 18 to finish out the round last week, and it's just flying so good. It's perfectly broken in. So when we're relying on that thing a lot. So this is a 20-foot circle of goodness that I want to land in. It gives me a smooth arm swing, nice shot into the basket. So I think we probably threw that about 480, something like that. So I would say got about 400 in, something around that range. And so it's going to be a nice smooth hyzer up top, kind of flexy hyzer shot up top, and then I'm going to fade back at the end, hopefully into the wood chips. See, that's going to be a little shy. I didn't really pop it all that great. Okay, I heard some wood chips, so I know it's some sort of probably circle's edge, short, if I had to guess. So I know that's gonna be where that is. try another one. I want to get a touch more glide. That's going to be still okay. Oh, that's a total slip. And that's going to be definitely short. But yeah, see, you didn't hear the wood chips on that one because I kind of slipped. But that first one will kind of give you an idea of the shot that I'm trying to throw. I didn't quite pop it perfectly. And then this one obviously is great. Both those I'm totally happy with because I know I've been out here playing this course a bunch. I can rely on my feel from a spot like that and give myself a circle's edge look. I think that being a far thrower on this hole is definitely important because you got to throw far, not just backhand, but also forehand on the upshot because it makes it so much easier to get that inside the circle look, which is what you're looking for out here. So my first one ended up being actually part from the fairway. If you throw a good enough shot, you can hear your disc kind of hit it. But I'm going to practice from here. Obviously I would tap in the tournament and just get my birdie, but I just like to practice these longer putts just to give myself some feel.
How did the baskets look to you from last compared to last?
I keep hitting high. It's funny actually, the kind of getting too much spin. That's something that, you know, when I'm really dialed on my putts, I actually hit high instead of low, just because, you know, the more spin you get, the higher your putter stays in the air and the longer it stays in the air because it's spinning more. So that's not a bad problem. Just gotta make that adjustment instead of, you know, starting the disc up here, starting the disc here, and you can glide into the chains instead of hitting the band. Yeah, I like these baskets a lot. They're a lot smaller. So last week it felt like the chain contraption kind of came out to here on each side, so it feels like it's a little smaller, which I don't mind. We got a major this week, you know, it's gotta be challenging, and so I think that the smaller basket definitely is fitting for one of the biggest majors of the year. All right, hole 5, 728 par 4, and we got meters is 222. That's a cool number. But we're throwing a forehand straight towards the PDGA flags. It's kind of a flex shot. This right hand kind of stumpy tree forces you to kind of throw a flex, because this gap also on the left doesn't allow you to throw a straight hyzer. So I'm kind of just aiming right at the PDJ flags. Basically, that's kind of at the OB line. So I know that I don't want to go past those. I just kind of want to go 20 or 30 feet short. And that's kind of my aiming point. Oh, that's way bad. So that was a complete shank that looks like I got super lucky through the trees, but I'm not result oriented. I don't, you know, if I shank a shot and go in the basket, I mean, of course it's cool to get an ace, but that's not a high percentage shot. So I'm gonna try to hit the gap with the second shot and get a better result. There we go. So that might be a little tight early, looks like. Okay, so it got around that corner. So you saw it kind of flare back right, so that's good. I'm gonna throw one more. Well, I didn't really like the feel of both of those. I'm gonna try to flex this one a little bit more. No, that's horrible. So that one just hyzer straight out, terrible spot. So yeah, we'll see where that second one goes. That was kind of the one that felt the best and something that I can feel like I can you know, achieve that angle again. And so we'll see, we'll throw a couple shots from there and see what happens. So this is kind of the sweet spot. You don't want to, you know, throw a driver. Like I could throw a general, but I don't want to risk that OB line. So the second shot kind of started at that tent and fade back to the right. We got a lot of trees up there. So what I'm gonna make sure to do is throw it high enough to where I'm gonna go in the trees and hopefully hit one. Obviously you can use it to your advantage, the trees whenever you can. There's no reason to throw it low into the grass and just stop and Velcro into the grass. When you have a bunch of trees, throw it real high. If you hit them, great. If you don't hit them, you're still putting either way. So there's no reason this should never be anywhere near the ground before it hits anywhere near the basket. So pretty much exactly what I want, nice and high. Give it that chance to hit the tree. Yeah, hit a tree, perfect. So it's like, that's kind of why I want to make sure to go high. Give it that chance to hit a tree. I almost hit the camera lady. Unfortunately, I startled her. But yeah, I mean, when you got a wide open shot that's kind of going into the trees like that, you always want to give it, there's so many trees, you might as well use it to your advantage. And even if you don't hit a tree, you're still putting. So yeah, that's kind of my mindset on a green that's like this, that's that wooded. So yeah, you can see how many trees we got here. We got just absolute trees galore. So there's so many trees to hit. That's why I want to throw it high and give it that chance to hit a tree. I hit a tree and dropped right next to the basket. But I mean, even if I flew another 20 feet and didn't hit a tree, I'm still inside the circle with a birdie putt. So just eliminate throwing low into the ground and having absolutely no chance for birdie. That's the pro move, and that's what you kind of how you got to think about on a green like that. We got special guest, UC Maresma. He's gonna show me, he's designed this course. I believe, when was it, 2018, 17?
Earlier than that, but yeah, we opened 2018.
He's the designer, so it's pretty cool that he designed this place. It's got a lot amazing history out here, and he's done a lot for the sport when it comes to anything disc golf, Discmania, top level disc golf. He started a tour back in the day. He's done a lot. He's been a pioneer for our sport. We're glad to have him, and he's gonna come on here and throw a shot.
Hold my battery.
Hold my battery, I got you. Hole 6.
I'm gonna navigate this hole with my compact.
That's why that wasn't staged, I promise. He's never thrown this thing before, so.
Oh boy.
Go in. Oh, that was so good too.
Actually,
that was a good shot.
that's exactly what I wanted this hole to be. So if you don't land it on the left side,
It's gonna roll.
away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got the pro breakdown right there. Land on the left side. Now we know. All right, so we're gonna go a little more left than UC did. Oh, that went too much right, so that's gonna definitely roll unless it spikes, gets lucky. So yeah, that's kind of a death putt. You wanna, like UC said, I'm gonna throw one more and try to go a little bit further left on the left-hand side. But it's a good design because there's those trees over there, so you can't go too far left. You just gotta make sure to, there we go, that's kind of what I'm going for. Skip up, hopefully, yeah. So that's about a 25 footer, but it's still not a gimme. You got a slope, you got wind, so it's a really well-designed par 3 that makes you think and makes you play to the good side of the green to make sure you have a good putt. So as we can walk up to this green, you can see UC kind of hit this upslope right here and then got a roll away, and that's exactly what he said he designed it for. He said he designed it to where you want to land left and have this putt. But as you can see, we got pretty, a crosswind, and you just got the thoughts in your head like, hey, if I hit and roll, you're good, it could be an auto bogey. So you really got to come up here with confidence and make this putt. But it's, you got to throw a good drive and a good putt. So hole 6, really well designed green. Roll away potentials on the drive and the upshot if you're not, or on the putt if you're not careful. So you can see how high it is. If it gets windy out here, it really makes you think about that 30-foot putt. That was cool. Got to have UC come in and throw a shot. He threw a pure compass. Like he's a pure thrower for sure. I've been playing with him for a while. I'm sure he's still an amazing player, as you saw. But we're on hole 7 now, 738. Got these Finnish mosquitoes out in full force. And we got 225 meters. And we got kind of a blind around the corner type shot. This is the type of hole where you it looks like you want to throw your most stable disc, but I'm going to go with a neutral flying mid-range. Keep it on hyzer and just throw kind of a smooth hyzering left instead of like a spiky hyzer. So I really want to just go just past this last tree on the left you can see on a smooth hyzer line. Pretty much exactly like that. So yeah, I can see it kind of come back into frame over here through the trees. So yeah, just kind of throw a puncturing hyzer that kind of flips up a touch and then fades as it's just as it's flipping up, it kind of starts fading. So I'll throw one more, and basically want to throw a similar, exact same shot, really. Yes, that's so money. That's so good. Yeah. Because it's the type of shot you don't want to fade too far left because then you get pinched off on the angle. You want to throw a shot that hugs that right-hand side and then just gently fades. And so it's a very specific shot. And like I said, this kind of left scraggly tree is the one you really just want to get just behind that and then start getting that glide straight and then finish left. So you'll probably see a lot of people throwing spike hyzers, which I like. That play can definitely work. I just don't want to go over the out of bounds. I want to just keep my disc inbounds the entire way and fade back into the fairway. And yeah, there's a good amount of room to work with. So I like to just keep it simple, point A to point B. Of course, I can throw the hyzer if I really want to, if it gets windy enough. There's certain scenarios, but I just don't like that, there's OB here and there's OB left as well. So a lot of times when you throw those over the top shots, you naturally want to throw it higher to get it across this OB, and then you end up going OB left. So those are the kind of things I'm thinking about. Yeah, I don't like this spot where I landed these two really that much. I like the line. I just need like a touch more distance. So maybe upgrade to a fairway driver potentially, and really want to land here. I'll throw a couple shots. I'm gonna probably intentionally go way left here on this basket because it's complete death in that pond. You'll see a pond up there, and I don't at all want to mess with that at all because I don't want to lose one of my good discs right now, right before a major. So I'm gonna throw my disc way left, and I don't even care if I'm in the OB or anything. I just want to make sure that I'm not. See, this is real awkward. The closer you get to this tree line, these trees are right in front of you. So you have to go super high or you're shooting right over the out of bounds. So it's almost like you want to be further back. So that way, like this one is a lot easier because I can just go over top of these trees a lot easier versus me being further. That's why being further down the fairway isn't always the best. So anyways, there's a pond right. So I'm going to throw it high over these trees and just kind of fade back. I want to be anywhere left of the basket. Anywhere right is just a terrible shot and it's gonna be right in the water. So that's probably gonna be OB left. Yeah, so that's probably OB left, which I'm honestly fine with. As I'm learning this hole, I'd rather learn this hole and push it too far left instead of losing some of my best discs right now. So yeah, I'm gonna pick these up and I'm gonna move to a spot where I really want to land. So, because now that I'm kind of learning this hole a little bit more. So if you see here, this opens up the fairway so much more. So I'm just going to set a disc here and just pretend like I landed here because I'm pretty confident I can still throw in this area. And in this one, I want to just hug this kind of left-hand side tree because the pond is right. So a smooth gliding mid-range. See, that's just too safe. I'm just real scared of this water on the right, which I'm fine with right now. I mean, there is OB left as well, so that's the tough part about this hole. It's a really tricky hole. I'm gonna try one more here. See if I can't get it right. There we go. Hopefully that doesn't go in the pond. Okay, sweet. So close. I mean, yeah, that pond is like 10 feet right. And maybe it did go in. I hope it didn't.
Oh, no, she's looking.
She's looking, no way. Well, I'm going in, I don't care, that water is absolutely disgusting, and you guys will see why I'm just throwing way left. This is a par 4, very challenging. This green is insanely tricky. I thought that was a good shot. I literally was happy with it out of my hand. And looks like I'm sure I hit the wall, barely hit the wall and just dropped in. But I'm getting that thing. It's a deep, kind of complete muck pond. Those first couple, you can see I'm just going way left into this OB, which, you know, like I said, this green is OB left and OB right. It hit the wall. I figured it did. It was a good shot. Yes, got it. This is my go-to compass. I can't be losing this thing right now. No lost soldiers, baby. And continuing now, you can kind of see why I'm throwing these over here. They're out of bounds, but I'm kind of learning the hole. So I'd much rather learn the hole and throw it in the out of bounds where I can actually get and see my disc versus over there. If I'm playing by myself in a practice round, I'm losing my disc forever. So not that I'm trying to throw OB, but I would much rather throw OB in a spot where I can actually see it instead of that muck pond. And then this hole is tough because if you go OB left, now you got the death putting right back towards. Yeah, so really well designed hole. I guess the most room, if you're really gonna attack it, is long left. You kind of have a lot of space back here, which is kind of where I thought my compass was, but it dried up a little bit short. Yeah, once again, another very challenging par 4 out here. And yeah, it's a great shot. I think on the second shot, I'm throwing too much of a kind of gliding hyzer that's gliding OB. I need to take a more overstable disc and just kind of spike it to try to hit this green and just stick instead of like throwing a glidey hyzer that's gonna skip. So that's kind of my game plan. That's when I'm gonna make the adjustment on the next round that I come through here, and then I'll be ready and dialed to get the birdie. All right, hole 8, we got 387 feet up this tunnel, 118 meters. This is what disc golf's made of right here. Dead straight tunnel shot. And this hole, once again, as you always hear me talking about, this is a very good amount uphill. It doesn't look like it, but I mean, very good enough to where, very gradual enough to where you can't see it, but it affects the disc flight. I want to start on the left-hand side and drift it back right with kind of my straight to neutral mid-range trust. Too much turn. Okay. Oh, wow. Got a really good kick. So I want to throw one more. I want to throw a little bit flippier. As you saw, that thing normally turns and it just kind of started hyzering a little bit more than I wanted. And that's because of this uphill grade. There we go. That's much better. It's going to flip a little more. Still going to hyzer, but yeah, I like that a lot. I hit more center on the fairway. I didn't start leaking as early. And that thing's flippy. And so it's really hard to really, as you saw, it wanted to drag up and start turning, which it normally does, but then it just started fading out. And that's that uphill slope that's getting me. And something that, now that I see it happening to my disc, next time I step up to this hole, I'll be able to counter that by just putting that tiny little bit more angle to where it holds, pushes straight a little bit longer, and hopefully takes these trees out of play on the left-hand side. My drives, this one hit a tree, so that, I'm not gonna really play that. This one kind of had a smooth full flight. Still a little bit short. As you see, it's 387 uphill, so it's playing more like 410, something like that. And so I could upgrade to a fairway driver to get all the way back to the basket, but I'm totally fine being 30 to 35 short because I don't want to upgrade this. And if you do happen to hit a tree, you get a way crazier kick than I would with the mid-range. And so I'm fine with kind of being 25 to 35 feet out. That's kind of something I don't really mind too much. So, and we got some new baskets this week, so we're definitely gonna get a lot of putts in the next couple days. We only have 2 days of practice before the President's Cup, so we don't have a ton of practice time. I'm gonna go out, late night putting sessions, probably 9, 10 o'clock, get 45 minutes, an hour, for the next couple days. But yeah, hole 8, that's a beautiful par 3. All right, hole 9, probably one of the most challenging holes to birdie on the course yet. 433, 132 meters, but this thing is like, the basket's literally probably over there. So it's like almost literally like a horseshoe. This hole, yeah, I'm happy with a par on this hole. I literally could probably just throw putter, which I might actually do. I'm gonna try to go for it now. But there's just so many things that can happen when you're throwing your disc on any sort of severe angle like this and you clip a tree, you have these crazy bounces off the tree, so you can really get punished hard. The shot really is to miss this last tree by 2 to 3 feet to the left with a nice turning smooth angle, not a cut angle, but a disc that's gonna glide back. And that's the challenging part, because anytime you throw a disc on this angle, it wants to come and cut and roll back left. So I'm gonna try to avoid that, try to get this nice glide out of my kind of flippier mid-range here. Okay, see, that's just not enough turn. Always got to listen to see if it hits anything. So that felt good, and I threw a good shot. It's just, this hole is so hard that that's probably still, 40 to 50 feet short. I got to throw it harder, just more committed on that angle. But I was really happy with that shot. There we go. That might be a little wide. Okay, so you can always tell based on if it hits the fairway the way it hits. That second one was good, so because it probably scooted up there. And as you can see, you gotta throw it on such a crazy severe angle, but it's the type of thing you gotta trust your disc. You gotta trust your disc on any hole, but you especially gotta trust your disc when you're throwing it on like a jackknife Annie like that. So very tricky hole. Let's see where those go. It's easy to push long because this hole goes straight to the right, so it's easy to push into this left side tree line. As you can see, it's just this is the last tree we're trying to miss, before we start turning back to the right. I'm gonna see, I probably should be throwing some sort of flippy fairway driver, which I don't really have too many of those right now, but we'll see kind of where my disc landed. I have a feeling I'm still, even great shots on this hole are still gonna be 40, 50 feet away. So yeah, look at that. Money shot, completely peered the gap, peered everything, and then look how far I am. So, this is the type of hole, unless you're really willing to hit a tree and take a huge number, which that's not my style. I'll take the long putt and mitigate any sort of risk. But yeah, whoops, pulled that one to the right. But yeah, as you see, once again, another hole that's kind of leaves you at, I'm way outside of circle 2 on this putt, but yeah, that's just a, small percentage to make it. Of course I can. And my other one's right here, just, basically a little wide, but it just shows you how hard this hole is. I basically threw 2 shots that I was very happy with, and you know, not even close to getting a birdie. So yeah, that's hole 9 is very, you know, very tweener hole-ish. You know, yeah, just because 1 or 2 people in the field get the birdie, in my opinion, doesn't make it a great hole. It's just kind of like a par, almost like a par 3.5. You know what I mean? I would be surprised to see more than, you know, a handful of people throw it inside the circle all week, really. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it definitely is possible. It's not impossible. It's a tough hole. And, you know, if you do find a way to get inside the circle, make the putt, you're going to gain some strokes. But thank you guys. That's the front 9 out here at Tampa Bay Disc Golf Center. Thanks for joining us, and I can't wait to show you the back.